Big win for Bernie Sanders in the debate last night. We'll talk about it in today's Lunch Alert. A little bit later in the day, we'll be sending out the third installment of those wonderful Ed Klein interviews. You should watch all 5. They really give you a portrait of Hillary Clinton. The conventional media is all saying that Hillary won, and they're all celebrating, and the Clinton people are euphoric. It's absolute nonsense. I believe, and I believe the polls will bear me out, that Sanders moved up last night, closed the gap with Hillary. Frank Luntz's focus groups, which are the only form of real research about the debate other than insider talk, was unanimously saying that Sanders won. Let me explain why he won. These debates serve 2 very important strategic purposes, which are far more important than simply how the candidate looked or what impression he or she made. The first is that they establish what are the issues of the campaign. When there's a topic that is discussed at length in the debate with vigorous discussion, that then becomes an issue in the campaign. And secondly, it's an opportunity for both candidates to stake out their positions, and if the position is advantageous to a particular candidate, to encourage his opponent to take the opposite position. And that's just what happened in the debate. 3 huge issues emerged: banking and inequality and the top 1%, war and peace, particularly in the Middle East, and guns. And on 2 of the 3 issues, Sanders staked out a position significantly to the left of Hillary and significantly more in line with the views of the Democratic Party electorate. The electorate overwhelmingly in the Democratic Party wants repeal of Glass-Steagall, breaking up of the big banks, and vigorous measures to address income inequality. And Hillary came out against almost all of those. And the electorate is very, very war-shy, very pro-peace. The New Left was energized in the Democratic Party in the beginning by the Iraq War. And Hillary's vote in favor of it, Sanders' opposition to it, and Sanders' opposition to the no-fly zone, and Hillary's recent advocacy of the no-fly zone, make the issue of war and peace, hawk and dove, center stage, with the hawks having Hillary and the doves having the majority of the Democratic vote with Bernie. Gun control was his only defeat. It was ridiculous to draw a distinction between urban and rural constituencies. Just absurd. Gun control is equally applicable in both places, and the Democratic Party electorate wants it in both places, and that would be a big negative on Sanders. But when you look at it fundamentally, the worldview of economic inequality and the need to break up banks and his opposition to the TARP bailout, and in foreign affairs, his extreme reluctance to use American force, but his willingness to do so in certain cases, puts Sanders completely congruent with the views of the Democratic Party and Hillary substantially to the right of them. Now, this will manifest itself over the next week or 2. You're going to see Sanders climbing in the polls. You're going to see Hillary stagnating or perhaps even dropping. Once again, she couldn't help herself. Even though the debate was not focused on emails or anything like that, she fibbed and said that she always said that she hoped the trade agreement, the Pacific Agreement, would be the gold standard. But in fact, when you read Hard Choices, her book, and any of her statements since, she said it was the gold standard. She now, of course, is opposed to it because she has to move to the left. But it wasn't that Hillary did badly. All eyes were on Hillary. But the winner was Sanders. And his ability to stake out these positions and do so in an engaging and sometimes humorous and charismatic way, I think is absolutely pivotal. Now, the insiders are saying, oh, the Democrats won't vote for Sanders because he can't win. Yeah, well, they voted for McGovern in 1972. And the left of the Democratic Party is as energized now as it was during the Vietnam War. And Sanders is playing just as much to them as Kennedy and McCarthy and McGovern did back then. So I think that this is a big win for Sanders, and I think that it's going to create a panic in the Democratic Party once the insiders recover from their delusions and realize that it happened. when they see Sanders moving up and it becomes clear that he triumphed in this debate, the pressures on Biden to come into this race are going to be enormous, because the Democrats are going to face not just defeat, but a total wipeout if Sanders is their candidate. And the Democratic Party leadership is going to beg Biden to come into this race, and eventually he's going to have to do it, I think. If he doesn't, then I think Sanders will beat Hillary one-on-one in the Democratic primaries, not just in a few boutique states like New Hampshire, but all over the country. It was clear last night that he has the momentum, the aggression, and the issues for a Democratic primary on his side. Some have criticized Sanders for absolving Hillary of blame in the email controversy and saying nobody wants to hear more about those damn emails. That was not a mistake. That was a correct move by Sanders. What it did really was it told the Democratic electorate, you can vote for me without having to believe that Hillary is a criminal. Every candidate sets the kind of prerequisite admissions test for being able to vote for him. What does a vote for that candidate mean? And in the absence of that kind of statement by Sanders, Democrats would say, I can't vote for Bernie because I don't think Hillary did anything wrong. But in this case, they can say, oh, Bernie doesn't even think Hillary did something wrong, so it's okay, I can vote for him without putting down Hillary. Very important move by Sanders, very skillful.